How's it going, guys? My name is Isla Diegos and welcome to my video on the top 10 things that ARK does that are awful. Number 10. Server lag and timeouts. Now, this is my number 10 strictly because there are other games that do this all the time, and it's a common thing among all video games. You'll experience some sort of lag and you'll usually lag out a bit, but it'll get back to normal fairly quick. But the reason I pointed out in ARK is, well, I don't remember the last time I was in, say, Minecraft or 7 Days to Die, which are both really good, where I was flying 100 feet in the air and all of a sudden my game decided to crash on me while I was riding my Griffin. And yeah, that's not cute. It's that sort of thing that kind of gets a little annoying. Number 9. Getting stuck. Now, this is a big problem I have with ARK, is because it seems that whenever you're trying to do anything, if you just happen to do something the wrong way, you seem to get stuck on wherever you are. As you can see here, I'm stuck while I'm trying to tame up this bird. But of course, I can't just tame the bird, I have to get stuck on its wing, and I'm trying to whistle for my direwolf to get closer to me. But for some reason, I can't do anything. I have to call one of my buddies over in order to save my ass, because for some goddamn reason I'm just stuck here. I spend like good 5 minutes here stuck on here. Thankfully I had enough loot on me so I could keep this thing from fucking waking up and everything. But this sort of thing is just unacceptable. I don't understand why you would just get stuck on the wing of this, for example, or there's other situations where you could get stuck, say, on another dinosaur, or you could get stuck in between a tree and a rock, or you could get stuck anywhere. You could get stuck in someone's base for all the game cares. And worst of all, and you'll see here in a second, is that me and Juiced were playing together, and we actually got stuck a little bit in Scorched Earth because Juiced kind of fell into a hole and the tether distance pulled me into the hole, which is actually what I'll get to here in a second. But look, there's nothing I can do. I'm stuck in this hole, and I either have to wait for myself to starve to death or I have to let the tether pull me out. I mean, this is ridiculous. This sort of thing shouldn't be a problem. They really gotta focus on fixing this sort of thing, even though it's still a minor issue. But like I said, let's get into my number 8, the tether distance. Now we're going back to something that ARK continues to struggle with, even though countless other games, like I mentioned, 7 Days to Die and Minecraft, don't have this issue where you are restricted to staying as close as possible to the server host, which is ridiculous. It limits what you can do, it limits what your server host is allowed to do, because they could unintentionally pull you away. And this is something awful. There was a time me, Dark, and Roz were on Dark's world, and when Dark was going out on his boat without telling us, me and Roz slowly got pulled into the ocean and we almost died. But also there are a few pros to this. For example, when you start the game, you actually start fairly close to the host. There are also times where it could save your ass. There's another time I was underwater getting attacked by megalodons, and Dark spawned in and he proceeded to actually save my ass because it teleported me away from the megalodons instead of killing me. But like I said, I mean, it's just ridiculous. There are more cons than pros with this, and it's one of those things where, oh, if I wanted to go hunt in the tundra for oil, and Dark wanted to go and tame something in the redwoods, then neither of us would be able to do this because we can't divide and conquer. Anyway, guys, let's move on to number 7. Raptors. Now, I'm not going to say that a raptor's a bad tame or that it's a bad creature at all. In fact, it's a really iconic dinosaur. All I want to say is the fact that it seems that even if you spawn in the safest part of the map, a raptor is always going to be your constant enemy. There can be other more common enemies like direwolves in the tundra and all that, but the raptor will always be there to screw up your day, even if you just spawn in or if you're in, quote, a safe part of the map. I just feel the raptor should be taken down a bit. Like, it shouldn't be gotten rid of, but should just be taken down a few notches. You know what I mean? Now let's move on to number 6, the grind. Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any work that goes into this sort of game. Of course, you're going to have any other game that you want to make sure you have plenty of resources, plenty of stuff going on for you, but ARK is so limiting in how you're able to obtain these things. First off, the leveling system, you actually have to level up a lot before you can get certain items, and in other games, you just have to get the resources to get those items, and then you're fine. And in ARK, you have to wait so long for that to happen. Also, you have to worry about your weight, whereas other games, you have a set number of inventory slots. In ARK, you have your weight to worry about. And also the fact that so much is used for so little. Like, you can use a whole stack of wood to smelt some metal. You can use like one fertilizer to keep your plants alive for one more day. But all in all, like, doing everything for so long and being expected to constantly do this, and I'm talking mostly about PV online servers, because you have to constantly monitor your base. You have to make sure your dinosaurs don't starve. You gotta make sure your crops don't die, and most of all, you gotta make sure that there aren't any hostile tames in the area, because you could be on one day, the next day there are just 2 Brontos chilling on the bottom of your cliff for some reason, because they just decided to spawn there, and there's no way around this. And that sort of thing is just ridiculous. You don't have to worry about this, say, like in a freaking 7 Days to Die server. You're not going to wake up one day and your house is filled with zombies. It's just, oh yeah, no, I woke up, everything's alright. There's a zombie outside, but that's not a big deal. I can take care of that. Versus a giant carnivore stalking your tames and your house. And that's just ridiculous. But anyway, guys, this is kind of going to go into our number 5, taming. Now, I want to go on record by saying that taming is not at all ridiculous. I mean, I understand you have all these creatures you want to tame up, and you gotta get them as your pets somehow, and taming is, of course, the way. But what I don't understand is the fact that, first off, taming takes a ridiculous amount of time. You could spend hours in real time taming up one dinosaur versus, like, anything else. You could be harvesting resources, you could be doing other things, you could be tricking out your base, and the only way to speed this up, for example, would be with kibble. And I understand kibble is an important resource, but it's so much work for so little unless you have dinos that can produce the eggs for you. But this also kind of stems into our next issue on kibble, which we'll get right into with our number 4 slot, which is going to be overpopulation in servers. Now, overpopulation usually occurs when a tribe has a whole lot of tames, but for the sole purpose of making kibble. There's no rhyme, no reason to actually have these tames other than the fact that you just want to make kibble and make it easier on yourself, versus other people who are just trying to get by. And if you end up getting a whole mass of dinos for your kibble farm, then that's just ridiculous, because you create so much lag on everyone else's end just because you don't want to do the slightly longer version of taming, just because you don't want to wait the little extra amount of time that it would take. And I understand that kibble is very important in the fact that, oh, we gotta make sure we have this dinosaur tamed up really fast and its level's going to go down and blah blah blah. I understand that, but at the same time, it's going to cause a lot of problems for everyone else. And we're actually going to talk about one of those problems in my number 1 slot, but for now, let's move on to our next slot. Number 3. Losing so much stuff. Now, I understand that in ARK, or any other survival game for that matter, you are most likely going to die. There's going to be a point in the game, you're going to die and you're going to lose some stuff. But I feel that ARK does this really poorly, because it seems that, like I said, with the grinding and the taming being so long, that you put so much time into this game only to have it lost like in the blink of an eye. Versus other games like like 7 Days, where, oh yeah, no, I spent this whole time getting all this material and stuff, but I died. Oh well, I can get this all back easier. It didn't take that long. Versus ARK, it took probably an hour or so to tame up whatever creature it was that you lost, and you lose it in like 1/100th of the time. And that sort of thing is something that it makes the game really off-putting, because it makes it so that when you try and tame up something, you just have in the back of your mind, oh, if I lose this, all this time is just wasted. All these resources that I spent grinding, everything that I did is just wasted at this point. And I'm not saying that at all, that you shouldn't lose stuff, because losing stuff is part of any game, and it's gonna happen, and as always, it's just a game. But if you're gonna put time into doing so much stuff, then why in the world should you lose it in so much faster time? I mean, that's just ridiculous. But anyway, guys, let's move on to our number 2 slot. Number 2. Spawning in online. Now, spawning in online is probably one of the worst things that could ever happen to any new player of ARK. It's very off-putting, and it makes you really not want to continue on from that point. The video clip you're seeing right now is actually me trying to spawn into a new Ragnarok server. I unfortunately lost my Griffin, and I was going to attempt to tame up a new one. So I was going to spawn in, get the loot I had transferred over, and get right to business. But of course, I had to find the right server, so I went looking around and I found one, and I had left it. Unfortunately, I was stupid and I left myself out in the open, so unfortunately for me, a Dilophosaur was able to kill me, as you can see. But it was fine, I roll with the punches, so I decided, I'll spawn back in. Spawning back in, there were a lot of giant gates and pillars in order to discourage me from building there. But worst of all, for some reason, when I spawned in, I didn't just spawn in the worst spot. I spawned in next to a Tyrannosaurus, which automatically killed me, as well as crashed the game. So there's 2 right there for you. My number 2 and my number 10 crashing the game. But another one was me trying to spawn in a separate server where I could actually build a house, because pillars are a big issue and I couldn't build anywhere. Pillars can't be destroyed, you can't do anything about them, and people just place pillars wherever they want, and there's nothing you can do. And for a new player, this is awful. You can't build a house, you can't set up a plot of land for yourself. Even if you want the tiniest house possible, you can't build it, simply because someone decided to push pillars all over the place. So the second I decided to spawn in, I was just trying to see if it was a good enough server or not. So I just decided to spawn in the Highlands, because that's a preferable place I like to spawn in. The second I spawn in, I'm just surrounded by behemoth gates. There's no way out, there's no way for me to get out, there's nothing that I can do. None of the doors are unlocked, which is also an issue. People don't leave the doors open for you to be able to get out, or provide a walkway for you to get out. Overall, you guys, just spawning in as a new survivor is probably the worst thing any ARK player can do, because you spawn in and everyone else has already done so much and you can't do anything about it, because whether they place pillars or not, whether they built behemoth gates or not, people have already taken big advantage over the space that is on the ARK, and they've kind of screwed you over on it. And other people are going to say, well, there's a way you can get around it, I'm sure. It's like, well, then I can't exactly, I'm new at this. And imagine if I've never played ARK, then I clearly wouldn't know what to do, and I'd probably quit and get a refund on the damn game, because that's just ridiculous. I never ran into this issue with anything else. But moving on to my number 1, Max Dinos. Now, this is the whole reason I made this video. It's because this is probably the last straw of ARK. Now, when I first heard about ARK, like I said, I'd been playing Minecraft for a while, I'd been playing 7 Days for a while, and those games are fun, they're really exciting, but I heard about a game where I could tame dinosaurs, ride dinosaurs, and it sounded like the coolest thing ever. And me and my buddy Juiced, we attempted to go and tame another griffin. I unfortunately lost mine. But when I went to tame up a pterodon in order to go and find said griffin, Juice sent me this little screenshot of too many tamed creatures on the ARK. Now, you know what game I ran into this issue with? Minecraft. I ran into this issue on Minecraft where there were too many creatures alive. And And so basically I thought, well, that's ridiculous. In Minecraft, the objective isn't to breed creatures or anything, it's to just survive. ARK, you think, oh, it's to tame dinosaurs and ride set dinosaurs. Yet you join a full server and this is an issue, and I've looked into this, and apparently it's every 2 out of 3 servers are like this, where you can't do anything. We eventually started taming one, but in the middle of the tame, it stopped because it said there were too many creatures again that were tamed on the ARK. And this is just ridiculous. This is the sort of thing that's killing the game. If I may make a suggestion even, how about you limit people, either get rid of the kibble system, like I said earlier, because that's the only reason people have this many creatures, is for kibble, and also to just showcase their million wyverns that they have. Second of all, I think that a person should be limited to, say, I don't want to go crazy or anything, but like 10 tames. Limited to 10 tames, and if you're in a tribe, you and that person can combine the amount you can have in total, equaling 20. Still limiting the amount you two can have, providing everyone else with something else. That way, someone doesn't have a monopoly on everything in the server, and you're just stuck there. Because I understand there's solo gameplay and there's non-dedicated gameplay, but that's not fun. I mean, you can play with your friends, but you also want to play with other people. You want to meet new people, and I feel that's what the community should be. Community should be people helping each other out, people caring about one another. Oh, you started out new? Here, why don't you join our tribe? Or, hey, how about I give you this tame? How about you're not screwed over in the beginning? But it seems that everyone wants to screw over each other in the end because they don't care. No one seems to care about anyone else in the game. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to end this video by saying that I don't hate ARK whatsoever. It's a very fun game. It's very unique. But there's a lot of things that the developers are ruining, and a lot of stuff that the toxic part of the community takes advantage of. And I just feel that a few tweaks here and there could easily fix this, like I said, with the kibble and all that, and the tether distance and all that. Like, that sort of thing shouldn't be an issue for a game that's this hyped up, because this game is really good. It's really held up by a lot of people saying that, oh, this is how all survival games should be, or oh, this is the best example of a survival game. And by me showing all this and looking over all this, I'm thinking that no, this is not the game you're telling me about. This is a game that has multiple issues that can be easily fixed, a community that doesn't seem to care about new members to it, and just a bunch of people that don't really care if you like the game or not. If they're set and you're not, sucks to be you. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if this sounded like a bit of a rant, but I just wanted to get this out there. Hopefully a number of people can see it and understand where I'm coming from, and I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with the same issues as I have. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Helps me a lot. Subscribe for more content. If you think I missed anything or misinterpreted anything, just let me know, and I'll correct it in my next video. And as always, you guys, thanks for watching. Stay classy.
Come to the dark side.